how much engineering and scientific prestige is needed to take 10 rocks, each the size of a AA battery, and extract enough power from them to power the average household for an entire year? There's a mystical metal buried deep in the earth that people have drained energy from for 69 years now. And here you sit listening to a layman's the description of one of the most complex machines known to man, nuclear generators that extracts power from these rocks. So I have studied nuclear energy for about 3 years at this point. The thermodynamics of it tend to keep me up at night, and just it in general. And so at its very core, it's nuclear core if you will, nuclear energy is simply misunderstood and misrepresented. And I hope to use my time to tell you the truth about nuclear power and what it is, just at its bare bones. So I'll tell you about the actual mechanisms that harness the powers of radiation. I'll tell you some little fun facts that I just want to share with you guys because I find them interesting. And I'll give the real information behind some of the misinformation that I've seen in the world. And so first, let's just understand how a nuclear reactor works. So first, we have uranium, the densest element that we've ever discovered as a species. And we can, much like if you're familiar with how a gun fires a bullet, we can launch an atomic particle at a hunk of uranium, and it will explode with the fury of an atomic bomb. And we, surround this by water, surround this by concrete, surround it by 6 inches of steel, and it has nowhere to go. The energy has nowhere to go but into the water that we put it in. And that creates jets of steam that go upwards and through a turbine that we set up, which, as you know, turbines rotate and create energy, much like the wind turbines that you'd see in the countryside, or a plane turbine. And anyway, so then it is redirected into a cooling tank that's cooled by seawater, which is why we get the smokestacks, it's just water vapor from the seawater. And the cooled down water that was in that the uranium was in goes right back into the pool, ready for round 2 of nuclear generation. And so I find that really cool. And something else I find really cool is how safe it is. A lot of people think, it's prone to exploding, but there have only been 3 total nuclear meltdown events out of our about 400, I think close to 500 now, nuclear generators in the world over the 70 years that we've been using nuclear power. And so only 15 people have died, which doesn't sound like a lot, but even compared to sharks, that is completely negligible. There are also only 90 years of uranium left on Earth, but in comparison to, say, plastics, where we only have 47 years left at our current rate of use, that's a very long time, especially to find other fuel sources. And speaking of nuclear fuel, it's still usable for other types of reactors. This fuel that also is 45,000 times more powerful than an equal amount of coal, which is not persuasive. I just want to show you how powerful it is. It can be used in space and underwater without oxygen, because there are Mars rovers that use spent nuclear fuel that's kind of boiled down to become more radioactive for, I believe, 800 years. They can use it for the power in there for 800 years before it runs out, to roll around on Mars and send information back to us. And the same goes for nuclear submarines. They have a nuclear reactor on board, and never once has one exploded or melted down and caused the death of our boys in green. And so, like I said, nuclear power plants are not prone to explode. That's one of my points. And there's also this misconception that the waste seeps into groundwater and it's in these yellow barrels, and that's simply not true. They take very good care of it. They keep it in these big concrete, steel, and there's another carbon fiber, like cylinders that are the height of a 2-story building, and it's so safe that you actually get more radiation being around your computer or going on a airplane than you do being around these these cylinders that can survive missile attacks and just so much. And so, in summary, because I'm running out of time, nuclear reactors work by heating up steam, which turns a turbine. There's a lot of just a lot of misconceptions about nuclear power. And so I hope I informed you guys about nuclear power a little bit. Didn't hope to change your mind about it, but hopefully just taught you a little something fun. Bye.